and I need to unmute. So, yes, I am back. We are running a little late. I had a bit of problem with an electrical. Not electrical, I'm so used to all that stuff. Internet outage today that backed me up on my time. So I had to start late, and I am in a rush because I am also getting ready to do Censorship Sucks after this, I believe, is on Sunday night. So once I get this started, I can hear the voice, yada, yada, yada. I will be ready to go. I heard no audio yet, though. That's the weird part. Hmm. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So we do have audio. I just had my mic turned down. Okay, so today is an episode of Weird Science, and I am going to go on to the next couple of stories that we have for the show. Let me make sure that I'm where I'm at in the notes. Like I said, I'm in a tight rush at the moment, so I've got to make sure that I've got actually everything that I need to have set up and ready to go. So let's see here. Yes, I thought I had it, but I like to make my topics separate from the places that indicate episodes, and I messed up basically. All right, now I'm lost. Okay, here we go. So here we go. The idea that intelligent life might one day replicate an entire universe is not simply the domain of science fiction. It rests at the fringe of theoretical cosmology and philosophical speculation, where quantum gravity, general relativity, and the study of consciousness begin to interact. Among the boldest of these ideas is a concept in which a universe is intentionally created near a black hole, taking advantage of the extreme time dilation present in such an environment. In this scenario, a supercomputer or an advanced computational architecture governs the process of matter decay, entropy, regulation, and cosmic regulation, carefully guiding the newly formed universe through its earliest stages. Though highly speculative, the idea is rooted in real physical theories and models, and at it and it presents a vision of intelligence that is not limited to planetary or even galactic ambition, but rather seeks to step into the role of creator itself. To begin understanding this proposal, it helps to examine the unique properties of black holes. A black hole is a region of space-time so dense that nothing, not even light, can escape its gravitational pull. These objects are formed when massive stars collapse under their own weight, leaving behind a singularity surrounded by an event horizon. From an outside perspective, time near the edge of a black hole slows dramatically due to gravitational time dilation. This effect, predicted by general relativity, means that while only a short amount of time may pass for an observer near the event horizon, a much larger period might unfold for someone observing from a safe distance. This temporal effect forms one of the key foundations of the proposed theory. If a new universe could be initiated in close proximity to a black hole, then time within or near that region might pass at a drastically different rate compared to the surrounding cosmos. The slowdown could be beneficial in stabilizing the creation process, allowing precise adjustments to the condition of the forming universe while minimizing the risk of instability or premature collapse. By placing this process in a temporarily stretched domain, the creator might have more time to respond to anomalies, correct errors, or even abort the process if it began to threaten the safety of the external environment. But simply placing the birthing of a universe near a black hole is not enough. The act of creation would require detailed control of the laws of physics at a fundamental level. This is where the concept of a cosmic scale computer becomes essential. Such a computer would not resemble the machines we know today. Instead, it would likely be a fusion of quantum mechanics and biological principles, operating at the edge of what the universe allows in terms of information processing. Its architecture might use matter and energy in ways that appear incomprehensible to current observers. It could be distributed, modular, or even embedded within the structure of spacetime itself. The supercomputer would have the job of regulating entropy, the natural tendencies for systems to decay into disorder. In the earliest moments of a new universe, matter and energy must be carefully balanced to avoid a scenario in which everything collapses into radiation or disperses without ever forming stars, planets, or life. Entropy must be managed like a sculptor manages marble, with each chisel precisely placed. The supercomputer would monitor the decay of particles, stabilize quantum fluctuations, and make micro adjustments to the constants of nature to ensure that the universe takes root in fertile conditions rather than devolving into chaos. It is important to understand that in this theoretical picture, the creation of a universe is not like pressing a button and watching a result. It is a gradual process filled with feedback loops, recalibrations, and contingencies. The supercomputer would likely run complex simulations of possible initial conditions, running vast branches of hypothetical realities and selecting those with the highest probability of habitable environments. Producing stable and habitable environments. Once a promising configuration is found, it would be implemented in the real formation and then closely monitored as the new universe begins to unfold. Another essential element in the theory is the idea that the black hole itself is not merely an energy sink, but a potential bridge. Some physicists have speculated that what lies beneath the event horizon may not be a dead end, but a kind of gateway. In these models, black holes do not destroy matter, but rather funnel it into a new region of spacetime, a region that could, under the right conditions, expand into its own separate universe. This process is sometimes referred to as a quantum bounce, replacing the classical singularity with a transitional bridge. In such a scenario, the new universe would be causally disconnected from the parent, meaning that no signals or material can flow back. However, the conditions set before the bounce could influence everything that happens afterwards. The implications of this idea are staggering. If intelligent life could create a black hole with the specific intention of using it as a seed for a new universe, then the act of universe replication becomes not only theoretically possible, but perhaps even desirable. This would be a form of legacy unlike anything imagined before. Instead of building monuments, space stations, or even intergalactic empires, a civilization might choose to create entire new realities, each seated with its own parameters, laws, and possibilities. This raises the question of why a civilization would undertake such a task. The motivations could be many. Perhaps their universe is nearing its thermal death, and the only hope for continuity is to create a new one. Perhaps the act of creation is seen as a moral imperative, a duty of sentient beings to extend life and complexity beyond their native cosmos. Or perhaps it is an act of transcend, transcendence, a final evolutionary leap in which intelligence ceases to be a product of the universe and instead becomes its progenitor. There are many. There are also, oh wait, yeah, there are also metaphysical implications. If our universe was created in such a manner, then we may be living within a reality crafted by an intelligence that existed prior to our Big Bang. Our physical constants, the nature of gravity, the structure of atoms, these might not be random, but the result of careful tuning. The cosmic microwave background, which scientists currently interpret as leftover radiation from the early universe, might also contain encrypted patterns, artifacts, or messages encoded by its creators. These ideas are speculative, but they force us to ask if we were capable if we were capable of creating a universe, would we leave behind a message for its inhabitants? If so, how would they recognize it? The theory also challenges conventional cosmology by suggesting that universe creation is not a unique, singular event, but part of an ongoing process. Just as stars are born and die, perhaps universes, too, are born through processes that allow for variation, selection, and even intentional design. Some thinkers have referred to this as cosmological evolution, where the universes that are capable of producing intelligence are the ones that go on to reproduce. In this view, intelligence is not an end but a means, a productive strategy of the cosmos itself. Another dimension of the theory concerns time. From the perspective of observers near the black hole where the universe is being formed, events may unfold quickly and with intense dynamism. 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 However, for the creators stationed in safer, more temporarily stretched regions, the process could appear to take millennia or more. This divergence allows for extremely detailed supervision without requiring the creators to themselves exist for billions of years. It is a way to bypass the temporal limits imposed by biological lifespans, aging, and decay. Some versions of the theory even suggest that the supercomputer might remain connected to the universe to create, at least for a time. This connection could be used to inject information, monitor progress, or even steer the early stages of galaxy formations and elemental synthesis. Eventually, the connection might sever, either due to energetic constraints or philosophical reasons. Perhaps the creators believed in non-interference, allowing the new universe to evolve freely. Or perhaps they see it as a kind of cosmic seed that must be let go in order to grow. The ethics of such a project cannot be ignored. If a new universe contains conscious beings, then the act of creating it carries responsibility. What if the universe is unstable? What if its inhabitants suffer? These concerns mirror ancient theological questions about divine creation, suffering, and free will. In this light, universe replication becomes not only a scientific feat, but a moral undertaking. The creators must weigh the risk and benefits, the potential for flourishing versus the dangers of harm. It is a form of stewardship on a scale previously unimaginable. Although this theory remains beyond the reach of current technology, the foundations are already being laid. Our understanding of black holes is improving through observation of gravitational waves and higher resolution imaging. Quantum information theory is pushing the limits on what can be computed and how systems can be entangled across space. Philosophers and scientists alike are beginning to take serious the idea that intelligence may be an essential component in the life cycle of universe or universes. If these trends continue, then what now seems impossible may eventually become the focus of real engineering and exploration. Now it's like I said, I have maybe an hour before I have to go and do a I have to go and do a simulcast for Dragus Production. They're doing Censorship Sucks tonight, so I wanted to come on and get this episode done. And also, I wanted to point out that this is a part of the topic that I brought up in the last episode. Now, the last episode, I was talking about astro engineering, and there is a theoretical um, a theoretical scientific theory. Yeah, well, it's just a theory, I guess, and it's called the developmental singularity hypothesis. Now, this is actually a pretty interesting topic, and here before long, I would love to get into this more, and I will be bringing it up on other streams and stuff. Now, I do have more topics on the subject, and I am wanting to get into it and um, start getting into this, but I am also wanting to cover more stuff that seems to be weird science as well. So what I'm doing is I'm breaking them up into roughly about 3 topics so that I can have 3 topics that I can go over in one episode. And this, sorry, this was one of the 3 topics that I was going to bring up. And like I said, I am in a um, kind of in a jam at the moment. I have less than 40, I have a little bit over 45 minutes to get everything set up and do another simulcast tonight. I ended up having electric out or internet. The internet went out just before 5 o'clock, so I didn't have any time to do my, or I wasn't able to do my stream, and I had it timed to where I could be on at 5 p.m. my time to do my stream, and then be able to have a little bit of time in between before I did that simulcast. And tonight I was only able to get on just around 5:45, which really messed up my timing. So I decided that I was going to come in and I was going to bring this up and read it, bring the topic up. Now, I had heard about this theory a while back, and it's taken me forever to actually find it. And when I did finally find it, I started doing some research into it. The thing that really caught my mind is this developmental singularity hypothesis. That's actually interesting in its own self, where it talks about instead of exploring out into space, we start going inward, and it describes how we've been doing our technology. It kind of shows that in a physical way, how like our phones, like if you look at how small our phones are getting, or how they were at one time, now they're kind of flat, but they're still bigger. You know what I mean? But even though they're bigger in that sense, they're still flat. And the whole point of that is our technology is getting smaller. Things aren't as big and bulky as what they used to be, and it seems that we are actually going compact. And that theory poses the question on what if we're looking out into space and we're doing all the wrong things when it comes to looking for intelligent life. And that is very, very profound, especially whenever you really get into the whole ufology thing, because you start picking up on these little videos and these little articles that people talk about, like on Mars. There's some people who believe that Martians are actually little bitty people. They're small, and there is life on Mars, but they're small. And that's why whenever you go on and you see photos of Mars and they point out this little bitty image, or part of the image that looks like a little bitty creature, that's why they point that out, is because that's kind of what they're going after with Mars, kind of like this developmental singularity hypothesis, where they actually make themselves smaller than what we are. You know what I mean? So that that does um, that does make a pretty interesting topic. You know what I mean? So I think that that is something that I've always been interested in. When I first heard it, it was from this one guy. He was on YouTube, and I still can't remember the name of his website or the name of his channel on YouTube, but he had like a speech problem, and he was a scientist. He wasn't into ufology or anything. He just wanted to say, you know, he wanted to say if there was aliens, this would be the most logical thing, you know. And he came out with this, and he also started talking about quasars, how quasars could be beacons for like aliens to map out where they are in the cosmos. And I thought that was pretty cool too. So eventually, if I'm lucky, I will be able to get that going and maybe do some more stuff into that. And like I said, I apologize for uh, today's stream being short because it is going to be short. And the only reason why it's going to be short is because I I lost my internet, and I do have to actually do a stream tonight um, for somebody else. So now the whole thing that I was talking about with this theory, what I said in the last one is it's an inward trajectory, and that's how they defined it. Um, it's a space-time energy matter compression, where instead of us growing out and trying to uh, travel the stars, which everybody knows that it's going to take a lot to get any significant amount of distance. But instead of doing that, we start thinking of compression rather than exploration, basically. You know what I mean? Look at the inner space rather than the outer space. And that is what I did last week. Um, it said in that one, it said, in this process, as civilizations become more intelligent, their use of space becomes more compact. Their interaction with time becomes faster and more deliberate. Their energy usage becomes more refined, and their relationship with matter becomes increasingly optimized. And that was a part of what I was looking for. But the truth of the matter is when it comes down to it, it's actually this week's topic. This is the one that I was really, really fascinated with the idea that um, there's a theory, there's an actual theory out where they're talking about actually having a universe created uh, near a black hole, and like everything in nature, no matter what, has to go through the process and of decay. You know what I mean? Material comes into the world, and it has to decay. And that's just, I mean, science has confirmed that, you know. But what this brings up is the idea that it doesn't have to be that way later on as technology grows. If you can put this, or if you can create a universe near a black hole, and you can have this computer, this super computer, um, or advanced computational architecture, whatever you want to call it, if you could have there, what it could do is it could make sure that not only do you not decay, but like everything within that universe doesn't decay at the rate of the black hole that you're in. You know what I mean? That it could monitor it and make sure that the process um, doesn't fall apart. That things don't just disintegrate the moment that you put it in there. And when he was talking about it, he was talking about it in the pretext of what I'd read to you, where to escape the final days of the universe, where it's going to just finally fall apart. You know, what if a civilization actually created a galaxy within a black hole to slow down the process and make it to where a civilization could go into that universe and live there, and they could have generations on top of generations of people in that universe. And when the larger universe collapses, it would be it would expand their time in existence. And I never even stopped and thought about it either. Like, if that universe did collapse, what would happen to the black holes? Would they disappear too, or would that universe still survive within that black hole? So um, those are some pretty cool things that really stuck out to me, and I thought I would bring it up and maybe get some feedback from you guys and see what you think about it. So if you like this video, which I know it's short, but if you like it, uh, like, subscribe, share, make comments. I'd love to hear what your feedback is. Um, Went and checked the audio real quick, make sure it does sound good. And like I said, I do apologize about this one being so short, but I am really tight on schedule. I will be back later, and we will discuss the other topics that I do have. I just had to get a video out. That's all it was. I try to make this as well. When I say I'm going to have a video out on Sunday, I'm going to have a video out on Sunday. That's just basically the way I am. Um, and if you guys like this, like I said, please like, subscribe, share, make comments. Really make comments. I would really appreciate that. And we are on Kick. We're on Rumble, X, Twitch, Kick, YouTube, and DLive. So you can check us out on any of those platforms, guys. And I will let you go and talk to you later. Thanks for stopping by, guys.